Most guys don't consider themselves to be ugly. In fact, according to a recent poll that I ran on the community section of my YouTube channel, only 3% of guys rate themselves as ugly. Most guys rate themselves as either average looking or good looking, with a small percentage rating themselves as very good looking and below average looking. So you're most likely not one of the 3% of guys who rate themselves as being ugly. Yet one thing that you're almost certainly going to have in common with every other guy who watches this video is that you have been walking along somewhere at some point in your life and you've seen a guy that you might rate as being ugly or below average looking or weird looking with a girl that is better looking than him. She may be pretty or she may just be better looking than him, and you may have wondered, what is she doing with him? How can a guy who others might label as being ugly get himself a pretty girlfriend? What is going on? Number 1, some pretty women avoid good-looking guys because they fear getting dumped and being heartbroken. Sometimes a pretty woman just doesn't believe that she's going to be able to keep a good-looking guy happy and attracted in a relationship, so she will open herself up to guys who aren't as good-looking as her. In some cases, when a guy looks at a pretty woman with a guy who isn't as good-looking as her, he might look at that guy and think he's ugly, or he might say he's below average looking. He might say he looks like a bit of a wimp or a weirdo. Why is she with him? Right? Why can't I get a girlfriend like her and he's able to get her? What is going on? Well, one of the reasons why that happens is that some pretty women just don't believe that they can keep a good-looking guy happy and attracted in a relationship. Another reason is that many pretty women aren't very confident about their looks. Some women look very pretty naturally. They don't have to wear makeup to make themselves look more feminine and appealing. Yet, many women do have to put on makeup to make themselves look more attractive to guys. These women know what they look like without their makeup on. Yet, many guys forget that when they see a pretty woman. They forget the fact that without her makeup, she is usually on the same level in terms of looks as he is, or he may actually be better looking than her. So this is one of the reasons why pretty women will often get into a relationship with a guy who is quote-unquote ugly. Right? Guys will look at a woman who is wearing makeup and looking very pretty. She may have done herself up and be showing a bit of cleavage, or she may just have that beautiful feminine energy about her, and she may have long hair and she just looks good. Yet the guy that she's with isn't dressed very well, he doesn't work out in the gym, and for some guys they may label him as being ugly or below average looking. So what's going on there? Well, many pretty women aren't very confident about their physical appearance. They may act as though they are, and they may put on an act as though they don't even need a guy because they're so pretty and everyone would love to be with them. But secretly, many pretty women aren't very confident about their physical appearance. Many pretty women know that they are faking their beauty. So whether you rate yourself as a very good looking guy, good looking, average, below average looking, or ugly, just remember the next time you see a woman that you perceive as being pretty, if she's wearing makeup, then she probably looks a little bit different without that makeup on. She probably doesn't look as appealing and attractive without the mascara on, without the fake eyelashes, without the foundation covering up all of her spots, scars, lines, and so on. In other words, don't give women so much credit for their physical appearance and start thinking that you're not good enough because she looks pretty. Now that said, there are some women out there who are pretty naturally. They don't even have to wear makeup and they still look pretty. You can still attract those women as well. And in some cases, even an ugly guy can attract those women. I know that sounds crazy and potentially unbelievable, but this is why. Number 3, if he's not her usual physical type, he might be able to make her feel attracted to him for other reasons. Some women who are naturally pretty and naturally beautiful have very high standards and won't accept anything less than a really good looking guy. That is true. However, many pretty women, including some of the natural beauties, will actually go for a guy that other guys may perceive as being ugly. Why will that happen? Well, many guys will think, oh, he must be rich. That's the only way to do it. An ugly guy can only get a pretty woman if he's got loads of money and he's able to buy her things and so on. Yet, although money can be attractive to women and it's a way that an ugly guy can get himself a pretty girl, there are other ways to attract women while still being a normal everyday guy. The way that it works is that when a woman feels attracted to a man for other reasons, such as him being confident, charismatic, making her laugh, and being emotionally masculine, she starts to look at his physical appearance in a positive light. she starts to think, I don't normally go for bald guys, but this guy is really sexy. There's something about him. I wouldn't normally go for a guy who had a little nose like he does, but for some reason, I feel attracted to him. I feel drawn to him. I like him. I think he's sexy and I want to be with him. Now, the thing is, the woman will still know that the bald guy or the guy with the funny looking nose isn't as good looking as a very good looking guy, but she won't care. If she is in love with the guy and she's attracted to him and wants to be with him, she will love him for him. Right? She will start looking at his physical appearance in a positive light. She will start looking at him and loving everything about him because she is in love with him, she's attracted to him, and she wants to be with him. As you may have heard me say before in another video, this is why you will often hear women talk about their boyfriend or husband and say, when I initially saw him, I wasn't attracted. I wasn't interested because he wasn't my type. But once we started talking, there was a spark between us, we fell in love, and the rest is history. In some cases, the woman will then go on to say that she dated all the wrong guys in the past and finally met the guy who was right for her. She wishes that she was able to meet him before because ever since they've been together, she's been happier than ever. Him and her get along so well, they're attracted, they're in love, and they go on to stay together for life. Number 4. Some pretty women aren't as serious about the visual as men are. For most men, the most important thing about a woman initially is how she looks. Then comes personality, if she's friendly, she's nice, and so on. Yet initially, what men feel attracted to about women is their physical appearance. It's an instant attraction, and in many cases, it's an intense attraction simply based on the way that the woman looks. Right? The man is seeing tits, he's seeing hips, he's seeing female features, and his attraction instantly switches on. Yet for most women, they don't walk through life feeling instant, intense attraction for certain male body parts, right? They don't look at a guy's legs and say, wow, look at those legs. Imagine the hair on those legs. Or I want to see those legs naked. Most women simply don't go around thinking like that. Of course, there are exceptions, and there are women out there who are completely fixated on the physical. Yet many pretty women really just don't care. They're more interested in the emotional connection that they have with the guy. Some pretty women are happy to be with a guy who is average looking, below average looking, and in some cases even ugly looking. Now, of course, ugliness and attractiveness is somewhat subjective, so sometimes when a guy is rated as being ugly, other people won't look at him as being ugly. They'll look at him as being below average looking or even average looking. It really depends on the person who is making the judgment. Some people are very judgmental, and anyone who doesn't look like a model is ugly or below average looking. So it really depends. Yet the question here is, why would a pretty woman not care if a guy isn't very good looking or good looking? Why wouldn't she want to get herself a good looking or very good looking guy? Well, what happens is that if a pretty woman gets into a relationship with a good-looking guy, it doesn't necessarily mean that she is going to fall in love with him and have an amazing emotional connection with him. It doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is going to last. She might rate him as being good-looking or very good-looking, but she might never really love him and feel like she wants to be with him for life. Yet, if she meets another guy who makes her feel more attracted and in love emotionally, she will like him more than she liked the good-looking guy. She will love him more than she loved the good-looking guy. She will want to have a relationship with him because when she's with him, she feels happy, she feels in love, and the relationship can work. Now, as I said at the start of the video, most guys don't rate themselves as being ugly. Yet, the thing is, if an ugly guy can get himself a pretty girlfriend, what is stopping you? Right? That's what you really need to focus on. What is stopping you from getting a pretty girlfriend? What are you missing? I've been helping new guys with this for about 14 years now, and I always see the same thing. When a guy isn't able to get himself a girlfriend or get laid by choice, he simply doesn't know how to make women feel attracted to him as he talks to them. He talks to women and he's either being too neutral as he talks to women, and as a result, there is no sexual spark between them, or he's being too nice. Right? He's trying to suck up to the woman. He's trying to show her how good of a guy he is, and he hopes that he's going to be able to get laid or get a girlfriend as a result of that. Those approaches are so hit and miss. If you want to have an approach that works pretty much every time, then you have to focus on making a woman feel sparks of sexual attraction for you as you talk to her. When you have that ability, you literally unlock your choice with women. You can make women feel attracted to you as soon as you start talking to them, and you can make them feel increasingly attracted the more they talk to you. For those of you who know my story, you know that I know this personally because I went through it myself. I was single and alone for many years after getting dumped by a woman who I got lucky with. I didn't know how to attract women, and as a result, when I talked to pretty, beautiful women, they just weren't interested in me. Even though I kind of looked like one of the Beavis and Butthead characters back then, when I worked out how to attract women as I talked to them, everything changed. Women felt attracted to me right away as I started talking to them, and they felt increasingly attracted the more I talked to them. As a result, I was able to kiss women on the first night, have sex on the first night, have sex on the first date, and have many women in my life at once. I did that for over 10 years. Then I met my perfect girl when she was 20 and I was 35. We settled down, got into a relationship, and have been together since then. So if ugly guys can get themselves a pretty girlfriend, and someone like myself, who, by the way, I rated myself as being average looking in the poll, can get themselves a pretty girlfriend, then you can do it as well, right? You can do it. You can literally make women feel attracted to you as you talk to them. And when you do that, you unlock your choice with women. You're able to make pretty women feel attracted to you. So if you'd like to learn exactly how to do that, I recommend that you read my ebook, The Flow, or listen to the audiobook version, The Flow on Audio. The Flow is everything that you need to know to go from hello to sex with a woman that you find attractive. It includes everything that you need to say and do to make attracting and picking up women easy and effortless. One final point that I want to make for you in this video is that when a guy is labeled as ugly by some other people, it doesn't mean that everyone else thinks that he is ugly. This is another reason why quote-unquote ugly guys can get themselves a pretty girlfriend. When a pretty woman meets a guy who some people might label as being ugly, she won't always agree with that. Sometimes she will say things like, "He's not that bad. He looks normal. What are you talking about?" And if he's able to make her feel attracted as he talks to her, she may even then start to like his physical appearance. She might like how he looks a little bit quirky or nerdy. She might like the fact that he wears glasses, is bald, or has a bit of a weird looking nose. So for all the guys out there who rate themselves as either being below average looking, good looking, or very good looking, if an ugly guy can get himself a pretty girlfriend, you can too. Come on. Don't go through your life thinking that you're not good enough for pretty women. You are. You can make pretty women feel attracted to you as you talk to them, and when you do that, you simply need to guide the woman through the rest of the process to the point where you and her are kissing, having sex, and starting a relationship. It's very easy to do.